on my crowded workbench, if you could tell which part is the guitar and which part is not. Obviously this part is the guitar. What I did was I made a mold. Mold is this is maybe 3/8 inch plywood, and basically what I did was I needed the back profile to match the side profile, but since the back has been disconnected from it, actually the side has kind of compressed this way, shortened this way, and kind of splayed out this way, so no longer matching the contour of the back. So what I did was basically take the 3/8 inch plywood, put the back on it, basically trace it on the edge to get the shape I needed. And at the proper increments, I drilled holes, and the holes are for the spruce clamp, spool clamp. Basically, this will stay in place as I clamp this thing down. All right, and then once everything is glued, it comes off. And then I just cut the inside out with a bandsaw. Basically starting in here and cutting in, because I do need to separate this, because this is not going to go in. And I do sort of have a cleat, a piece of wood basically, that is screwed onto both ends of this thing, and I did that before I cut it, so I knew exactly what the shape was. So basically kind of had to finesse this shape into this mold, and once I got it in there, basically I squeezed the clamp shut, the mold shut, so this will go back into space. And then even then the shape was not kind of optimal. It was still too short in this direction, and kind of wide in this direction. I don't know how you could be wide that way, but anyways, so basically trying to get this thing to stretch out, because otherwise the back was too long for the side. Also moisten the inside of the guitar with spray water bottle to give it a little bit more humidity, and hope that it'll be more flexible and splay out. Over here, the clamps are there basically to try to shape it, so it wasn't perfectly, not even close to perfectly, pushing on the mold, so trying to keep it up, and with the moisture I'm going to leave it on overnight, or maybe even longer than that, to hope that the shape, or the back, will kind of shape itself back into the shape that it was originally. So I've been trying to finesse the shape of the side to match that of the top. Yeah, so just putting the mold around didn't make it perfect. So basically these are door shims. So here it's really good, here it's good, here is no good. You probably about 3 to 4 millimeters. The waist part is inbound. Over here it's good. Here it's a little undercut, right? The side is a little pushed in. Here it's a little pushed in, maybe 2 millimeters. And what I'm doing at the each ends, because you can't clamp it, is this is through the strap button hole. I have a wire basically tightened to pull it. And here, let's see, the side is a little protruded compared to the back. So I'm gonna need to do something a little bit better than this in order to get the side into shape. Oops, no wonder it doesn't come off. So you can see that here through the end pin, or the end pin hole, and here I just drilled through a hole in the dovetail so they can't see. And I have something attached here, chopsticks I guess, attached here, so it has something to pull. The problem is, because I don't have a round hole like an acoustic guitar, I can't really put the spreader that I would usually use for something like this. So all I have is this F hole to take things out. So once I'm done with this, basically I could cut the wire everything will fall, and I'll be able to fish it out of the F hole, or at least that's the plan. But I think I'm gonna need to spread this a little bit, moisten it to see if it will take the shape a little bit better. Either that, or I'm going to have to glue the back to the side a little bit at a time. This needs to be spread out. So basically, I think what I'm going to be doing is gluing just this part to the back and then putting it into the mold so I could squeeze the upper bout and the lower bout in, because that's the one that kind of spread out. A little bit more work required here. Okay, so what I did was basically the mold. I sanded down the bottom side and the top side because it was still too short when this was in, and I couldn't pull it far enough. So in order to be able to pull it far enough out so the length of the side will match the length of the back. And what I'm doing, since once I close this, right, again, I can't use a stretcher bar or expander bar or whatever it's called. So basically I have this piece of wire. It's gonna go inside. This is the strap pin, I guess, hole. And just using the strap pin hole so I don't have to drill another hole into the body. And let's see. And pulling this through. And once this goes in like this, just using the plier to twist the wire and to basically sort of tension it. So the bottom of the side, the strap pin side of the side, I guess, is pulled tightly against this side. And I'll do the same for the top side. Just a little short. And my hope is that the wires don't break from being pulled too much. Pull a little bit more on this side. Wire, please don't break. So I had to, let's see, so this is a spreader, right? So basically you're keeping the sides, especially the waist part of the guitar, pushed out against the mold so it doesn't curve in too much. This is for a Martin 000 OM size guitar that I use to build those. And basically you sort of have a, I don't know what's this called. I'm not gonna bother. Some kind of tightening device. You turn it and it tightens, right? On the ends, let's see, my mold is collapsing, so it's kind of forming a V shape, so it is minimizing the length. But as far as the length is concerned, this is the right length. When this is spread, this is overspread, so it's wider than I need it to be. The bouts, the lower bouts and the upper bouts, with this shim, it is the right side. So I kind of wet it down the whole side. Hopefully leave it this thing overnight to hope this thing kind of relaxes and molds to this shape better, so I have a little bit easier time trying to glue the back to the side. So obviously, yeah, if I could leave this in, I'd leave it in, but without the sound hole, there's no way I could get this thing out once the back is glued on, which is kind of the dilemma that I'm facing right now. Okay, so I fiddle around with the molding, the mold, not the molding, for a while to try to get it to completely match the top. Basically, if I push it in here, it splays out here wide, blah, 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 blah. So basically couldn't get it to sort of perfectly align all around. So basically I decided to do this partially. Because of the net set angle, I was most concerned about the length of the back versus the sort of length of the side, that it matches. Otherwise the neck angle is going to be way off, although it may still be off. But at least that was sort of the original shape of the guitar, basically as far as the neck mounting surface is concerned. The other part, of course, is on the sides here where the waist is. Basically, if I adjusted the side to be the same curvature as the back, basically the waist came in too far inwards. Yes, I could trim the back a little bit to match it, but this is sort of a repair, right? To make it playable and not meant as a restoration. So I didn't really want to shave wood, cut wood, or whatever, so I'd have to refinish it. That is basically what I'm trying to avoid, although later I may decide to refinish the instrument. So what I end up doing is basically try to fit the back as identifying how to fit the back as best as I can. And then I marked it with the tape on the side and on the back, so I know where it would match. Took the back off. Basically, I put glue on the neck block and the tail block, and basically I'm just and also I glued the top part all the way up to around here. So this part, basically I'm trying to fix into shape. Once this is all glued and structurally sound, then I was gonna work on trying to figure out what to do here. Basically, I need to, so you could see that the back is, the side is a little bit further out here, but I am pretty sure I could convince it to go in. Although I may end up having to unglue the tail block here in order for that to happen. But anyways, so basically just doing the top half of the guitar to gluing the back on, and let it probably maybe overnight to make sure the glue completely sets. And then I'll start working probably one side at a time. So basically the way I'm looking at it is, so this is just a partial separation of the back from the side is the top process. So basically it's separated from here like the top, right? So partial separation. So you need to kind of slide in the groove into this groove, or the gap between the back and the side, and to form it to the shape that the best I can. Okay. We got the upper part glued on. The glue is pretty dry now. So now going on to the lower part. And basically I did have to, originally I did glue the end block to the top in order to get the side to spread to the distance in this direction. But I couldn't bring the sides in enough with this thing glued. So basically I did have to break that glue contact here. And basically gone around probably up to around here. It is a very, very nice fit. But beyond here, the side is bigger than the back. So there is a little step, as you can see here. Maybe maybe 2 millimeters. So I'm gonna probably have to put like a binding or something like that, a plastic binding around it to basically hide this step. Um, Anyways, that's kind of where we are now. Okay, now I'm trying to, let's see, moving on to the neck, well, the body drive. So this is the neck. The neck is actually sandwiched in this workbench. So it'll be the surface of the neck is flush with the workbench. And to that, basically, this is my routing jig. Basically, my Dremel rides on this edge and it cuts right across this edge to put a groove in. So basically, I'm not going to show the actual operation because it's just loud and messy, but cutting a groove in here for this double action truss rod, making several paths, and it should probably fit in like this. Obviously it's not, it doesn't have the right depth yet, right? Okay, so the truss rod is in there. And still need to kind of shimmy it up so it'd be tight once the fretboard goes on. The fretboard is temporarily taped on as I actually work on setting the neck. And I just wanted to show you my truss rod cover. It's a piece of ebony, and all it does is basically just slides in there. And it's a tight squeeze, so I have a little lip on this side so I could pull it out, but I can't. Here you go. And what I'll do is I'll probably just put one screw, probably around here, into it, so the neck. So it's just like a black strip truss rod cover rather than like a Gibson style, you know, big plastic cover or anything like that. In terms of the access to the truss rod, let's see. So even with this, you know, you do have quite a maybe about 45-degree angle of turn or whatever, which is sufficient to do multiple turns. Okay, and going further, basically working on the next set. A little tricky. I don't know if I could do this one-handed, but basically, so the neck will go as far as this. This is the plane for that tenon for the neck. So this tongue here part, I guess, will be glued onto that. And looking at here, let's see, so this is a straight plane. So I think I created enough space in there to get the bridge in there. So now I'm just looking at the God, okay, can't do this one-handed. Looking at sort of an extension of where this thing goes. The neck needs to come in more this way. So I'm still working on this side of the heel. So the neck will be tilted a little bit more this way, just so slightly. So basically that's what I'm doing. I'm not going to show you the part where I'm carving the tenon, because there's quite a few videos on it on the web, and basically it's a long process. Okay, so the neck fitting is almost done. I have these shims in there to basically tighten the dovetail, and dovetail is tight. So looking at the neck angle that I got, actually it's a bit more than I was trying to get. So as it lines up, so it does hit the bridge, but the bridge is maxed out. So I got too much angle out of it, but I think I could make this work. If not, I'm gonna have to make a different bridge piece or something in order to compensate. But anyways, I'm gonna call that done for now. So the next step in this guitar repair is I needed to make the tongue. So here is the neck, and here's the dovetail, and this is the part that extends beyond the neck and glues onto the top of the guitar. Found a piece of maple, flame maple top actually, left over from a different project that was the exact same width. So basically took that, and it is being glued on the front surface of the dovetail right here, and sort of butt glued onto this thing. I think Ted Wolford mentioned that this was just glued on, butt glued on, and that's why it comes off, and that's probably why it came off on my guitar. I was thinking of dovetailed the whole thing into the neck, but I figure that's just too much work. So after that's done, maybe I'll just screw it in to the dovetail or something like that with the wood screw to make it more permanent or stronger. But in any case, I'm trying to establish a flat surface to glue the fretboard on.